Miss Brenda. Now, I've got my terrible easel today. So, you'll see a lot of my hands holding this. What I've done is I've taken your dark blue and I've added one bit of that, and I've taken the white and I've added 2 of the white. And we're just going to pull it down just like this. Remember, try to get all the way to your sides. Now you know I always paint the sides black. That way if it's not in a frame, it still looks nice and clean. You can pull the paint to the sides like this, but you'll have to do that for every bit of color that you have. I'm not really going to worry about it too much because I like the black. It looks clean, it looks like it's supposed to be that color. Alright, now we're going to take a little bit more of that white. We're going to bring it through here and bring it up. Before we were pulling it down, but now we're bringing it up. Alright, now the next color we're going to do, may have to add a little bit more of the white to that if you would like. It just should be one swipe normally. Now, how far down you go in your blue will be how far it is for your sunset, how far into your sunset you are. I'm going to put a little bit of this orange here, if I can keep it from falling. This is technically not what it's for. And then we're going to add some more of that white. And you want to work quickly with this because we want to blend it. Now I'm using my big flat brush. You remember our seascape. I'm very fond of the big white brush, or the big flat brush. You don't want too much of that line. So with your big flat brush, make sure it's dry. Your big, not flat brush, but your big fluffy brush. We're just going to blend this together. You're going to bring that up into this. Now if you're going to go down, when you want to go down, you're going to have to clean that brush off to make sure you don't have any of the blue. because you do need to. What I like to do is I just like to rub it out just a little bit. And make sure that's blended through. And your yellow. So you should have a yellow. About that color. And we're just going to go through here with it. Now, if you still feel like that is too dark, you can add a little bit more white. Very helpful. I'm going to add just a little bit more yellow because I want a little more I want to bring that up through this a little bit more. Get rid of that harsh line that we've got going on there. Okay. We've blended that out quite a bit. Now don't worry about getting so much on your mountain line. And then you're right here, because this is going to be a burgundy red. And like I said, alright, now you see we've got the gradation. We've got the yellow with the coral, and then it blends into this blue. Now you want to stop here and use your smaller round blending brush. And you're going to take some of your burgundy there we go. And now we're just going to take this and we're going to blend this along that mountain range. And remember to go around your sun. You don't really want to get too much on your sun, because if you get too much on your sun, it's not going to be as clean. It's going to be harder to get the brightness of the sun. you know how we did this part where we always blend with the thick dry brush. That is going to be what we do here. Some of that yellow has dried on there. And remember, I said we had to work fast with the acrylics because most of what we're doing this time is dry brushes. So you just, if it dries before you get the red part blended in, just add a little bit of yellow. That's my son snoring because he's adorable and he sleeps like he's a vampire. I don't know if you can see that. He's a cutie. Now I'm just going to add a little bit more of this yellow right through here because I want the yellow to be just a little bit brighter. Now make sure right through here that you blend really well or you're going to end up with a very straight line through it. I'm sorry if I sound a little strange today. I have a sinus infection. It's not fun. I do not feel awesome. Okay, we're going to need a little bit more of that white. Make sure you don't use all of your white in one go. However, if you need more white or if you need more of any of the colors, let me know and I will definitely make sure that it is replaced. Now I'm going to take my small flathead, or my small flathead, and I'm going to go into here and make the sun just a little more bold. And then we're going to let that part dry for a little bit. Not going to worry about adding the white or the highlights just yet. And that is because we need to go back to our bulky brushes. Now, you might think it's a little strange that I have given you a palette knife because we don't normally use the palette knives. But that will be for some of our more fun details that we haven't got to use yet. Now we've got our white, we've got our red still, and we've got our blue. Now up here, we're going to take our flat one, our large flat one. Mine may be a little larger than yours. And what we're going to do is we're going to run it right through here. Don't worry about that too much because There's going to be a piece of land right through there. Now, I just gave you these land pieces up here. I just gave you land pieces to play with. That's just a guideline. You do not have to do it exactly like that. You don't have to do it exactly like that with the land pieces, like these right here. But we do want to keep this area a little cleaner with the blue because we are not, that's not only going to be blue right there. It's going to be reds and oranges because this is a lake. And you can be a little messy through here. Because like I said, we're going to go back over it with a black. It does not have to be perfect. This canvas is not fitted for this. Is not fitted for this easel, but I left my other easel at work. So there won't be any way for me to do this. Now, this seems a little messy, I know, because it really is. Oh, for goodness sakes, stay up there. You really want to drag it more this way. You want it to be kind of a triangle this way. And I'm going to go back over this in just a moment with the blue. And maybe kind of just blend that in with the blue and the white. So down here it's blue and white, and you can blend it out. You really want to blend out these. Maybe bring in the red over here. What I am going to do is do a little blending from side to side if my canvas will stay up there, just to kind of bring these colors together a little bit more. Don't worry about that being perfect right through there. But this one is a lot like what we did with our beach scene. I don't know if you remember that one. That one was a lot of fun. remember I said I was doing you'll need a little bit more breath right through here. Sharp strokes with this one. If you want to, you can take your smaller brush to do some of the ends on the sides. Your smaller flat one. Now you do want the middle part to be a little bit of a bolder red. You want more red through here, so just keep adding red through there. Alright, we're going to let that dry for just a little bit, just long enough so we can add the orange in there, because you want the sun glowing off the water. And since the sunset is mostly the oranges and the yellows, you're going to go from your red to your orange to your yellow. It's just going to be a layered effect. And then we'll get to the white. Alright, just cleaning my brush. Alright, now we're going to go in with the orange. Just like this. Small flicks. Make sure you've let your red dry just a little bit, not too much. And this is your orange. Alright, we're going to let that dry just a little bit. Alright, now we're going to add some of our yellow. Now, when you're doing the yellow, you want to do it closer to the top. I'm just tapping it on there, just because mine is not completely dried. So just the end of the brush, and then pull it just a tiny bit. So the very tip of your bristles. Now, this is where I usually take my little palette knife and just kind of pull them through. And I'm going to take it and run it a long ways through the white paint. And just right here in the middle. You can use the small end for smaller strokes. And when you do this, you want to do it lightly. So you don't want to add huge globs of paint to it. Alright. Now we're done with the water. The next thing we're going to have to do is we are going to go in with our fine paintbrush, our liner, and we're going to make the streaks of the sun. Or, you know what? We should probably do the land first. That way when we put our streaks on, if they're hitting land, then they hit land. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, you can use this one or you can use your liner. Now I'm going to do the bottom of the land in the liner, or in the flat. And just do whatever feels natural to you. If you want your mountains to be rather smooth, you can wiggle your brush just a little bit to give it a little bit more edge and texture to your mountain. And do that on the other side. Now, since I want to pull my mountains in just a little bit at the edges, closest to the sun, take my small liner and get that spot that I wasn't able to get to before. Alright, and now we're going to take some more of the black. We're going to go over here, and it does not matter if it is straight . Alright. Now we have one more land bits to put in there. Well, two. I'm counting them as one because they're in the same. You got your far, your medium, and your forward focal points. Alright, and we're going to go over to the other side. Maybe start with a different shape for a change. There we go. And now what we're going to do is we are going to take our fine point liner, we're going to add a little grass in there. Maybe some cattails if you like cattails. You just do fine little flicks with that. I don't know why I always do that. My brain just wants to combine words whenever I speak. Oop. I just never know when it's going to do that. Just that. There we go. And when I tell you that you can make a cattail, it's just a long streak with a bit of bulb at the end.
you said you were wanting to do the bear, and I gave you a stencil for that. Now, I had to make my own stencil for what I'm going to be doing. And that is a mountain cur. Because this is actually for my grandpa. This one right here. And my grandfather, when his health was a little better, used to raise mountain curs. Super smart. The only problem is he raised them for hunting dogs. But he always got so attached to the dog that he never could sell them because he just loved them and wanted to keep them. That kind of ended up being a joke with our family because he got them to sell, and we ended up with all the puppies because he just loved them so much. But mountain curs are super smart. One of my favorite kind of puppy dogs. They got a cute little bobtail. Every once in a while, and a lot of times they're born bobtail, if I'm remembering correctly. I don't know. Grandpa may have gotten them bobbed because that's the way they're supposed to be. But I don't remember if that's a fact or not. Alright, so we've got our grass in, and the animal is the last thing I want you to do. We want to do the streaks of sunlight first and finish up our sun before we start working on anything else. Now, when you do your animal, I want you to wait until this entire thing is finished and dry, because you're going to do your stencil and you're going to trace around your stencil. So you're going to put your stencil wherever you want it after this is completely dry, and you're going to trace it, because I find that a lot of times when you use stencils in the way they're meant to be used with a stippling brush, you end up with patches underneath the stencil that's not pleasant. And it's not nearly as fun to try to fix. So we are going to do that last. And then after you get it traced on with your stencil, you're going to go back in and you're going to neatly, and I know you can do this because you're very talented at doing nice and neat and in the lines. It's super fun trying to get you to go out of the lines. It's so much fun. Although every once in a while you surprise me with your little wild side that comes out. But that's the one time I'm probably ever going to want you to be nice and neat with it. Because I'm not going to let you put the stencil on there and dab, 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 dab. As much fun as that is, it doesn't leave clean artwork. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back in with my white. You saw that I put the yellow back on there. And I'm going to fill this yellow part in for the most part, leaving about a millimeter of yellow. And the reason I am doing that is because it just makes the sun that much brighter. Oh, I don't like these paints. And you want the sun to be bright because obviously it's the sun. Alright. Now you remember I told you that we had something fun planned for that palette knife. Yes? I don't remember if I sent you the one similar to this or the one similar to this. But we're going to go into our white and we're going to get a nice trail of that. And we're going, now you see I've got it a nice trail of white right there. We're just going to take it no, it's not wanting to cooperate today. And you're just going to drag it with the blade flat, this part of the blade flat onto your canvas and drag it up. Pick different angles to do it at, make them different lengths, but have fun with it. And this, for some strange reason, I find this part incredibly fun. It can be super frustrating if you mess up, so try not to mess up. Do it on paper first, just so that you don't, so you get the hang of it before you ever try to do it on canvas, because you really don't want to mess up your painting. And just go all around that sun at different angles. Just follow along with the sun, though. You don't want to do too much where you're not following along. So if your sun is angled right here, you go this way. If it's angled right here, you go this way. Just like I have. Now, right here at where the landscape is, right there where you're going to take it and you're going to pull it along the edge of the bottom of your landscape. Oh, I swear. Let's just say I'm not going to be leaving any more of my easels anywhere. Was kind of in a hurry today, though. Now, certain sections can have more than one. Super close. Really want to get another one right through here. Just get those lines in there really nice. And then I am just going to take the tip of this and bring it roughly. You want it, don't let it get too caked with paint. You don't want it too caked with paint. So any part that is angled towards the sun, we're going to give just a little bit of paint, of the white. I'm just going to brush a little bit of that off. And the reason I'm doing that is because the light is hitting those hills. Even though it's a sunset, it's still hitting those hills or mountains, whatever you want it to be. And along the larger ones, I'm just dragging it down just a little bit. And we can do that here as well. Be careful not to get to where your grass is. Oh, you bit. Sorry. That was totally my fault. And that is it. Now it has to dry. We're going to let it dry. And then we're going to put our animal into it. Now, like I said, I'm going to have to take it down for a second to do the animal. What I want you to do is take your stencil and set it wherever you need it to be positioned correctly. I am not going to be able to do that just yet because I do have to lay my canvas down to do that. I'm not faced at the correct angle for anything like that. Let's get a little bit of the excess cleaned up. Now, okay, I am going to attempt to put this mountain curt in here. Oh, let's hope. And there we go. We're all done. All you have to do now is sign your name to it, and you are finished. Unless you didn't do your border. And then you have to add your border. So remember your little black border. Alright. I had fun painting with you, Miss Brenda. I hope to see you soon at our art class. Bye-bye.